If you want to get your X Plus figures, head on over to Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description. Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hey there, collectors, it's Steven here, and I'm bringing you another Deforeal review from the fine folks at X Plus. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Deforeal King Ghidorah 2019 from Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Now, this one has been highly sought after, especially since we had the Godzilla 2019 release, and guess what? X Plus released yet another non-Godzilla Deforeal. Oh yeah, that is awesome. It's great to see that they are finally branching out into other kaiju, because it's not just Godzilla that exists. Oh yeah, we're getting our enemies now. Now, that being said, after release, some folks were a little hesitant. Why? Well, the Ghidorah here doesn't quite look exactly like the prototype. Well, that's to be expected, right? Well, the paint apps don't quite match up. What are we talking about? Well, considering the fact King Ghidorah costs somewhere at about $120 to $150, is that much of a deviation acceptable, or should you maybe hold off? Well, let's take a look to see whether or not King Ghidorah is worth adding into your collection. First and foremost, King Ghidorah here is large and is absolutely in charge, but we will take a look at that during the scaling section. Now, in regards to paint applications and how the figure overall looks, in the promotional pictures, we saw ourselves a nice, I would have to say, a muted gold color for King Ghidorah. Everything looked to be rather nice, rather screen accurate. In regards to the actual final release, however, what we saw ended up being what you have here on the screen. It looks a bit more muted in color. It looks like there's some more browns, bronze, earthy tones that were used, so it's not exactly in line with what was promoted. But that being said, that doesn't mean it looks bad. It's just, well, unfortunately, a little different, and that can upset folks. So I do understand why that is going to be one of the big issues that some people have. But let's take a closer look, and maybe if you're already dissuaded from getting the figure, a closer inspection will make you happy. Maybe. One of the unique things about this King Ghidorah figure is that X Plus was able to actually give it some different expressions for each head. That's right, it wasn't just the same thing across all of them. They were able to capture different emotions for King Ghidorah. The right head features just a neutral expression. Ghidorah has his mouth closed, the middle, the standard roaring, and then of course we have the left head, which is sort of a raging berserk head. And of course, that's the one we all know, and love? Yeah, I guess we love. Yeah. So the figure's base color is not going to necessarily be that nice goldish coloration that we saw before. It's going to be more so of an earthy tone, and there are some yellow highlights to it. There is some nice strong dry brushing, which really does help to bring out the sculpted details in the figure. In some areas, like on the horns, I will admit it's a little heavy-handed, but ultimately it does help to really identify some of the key areas of the figure and help you draw attention to where your eyes need to go, and that can be difficult to really nail down on a figure. Trust me, with all the stuff that I've reviewed lately, there have been some figures that haven't been able to do that. Now, as you've seen for King Ghidorah so far, the actual paint application for the mouths that we can see do look great. The teeth are fine. The nice red webbing looks great as well. So all of the detail that went into this figure, obviously no expense was really spared in making sure that the actual quality was up to X Plus's normal par. Now, when we take a look at some other areas, like let's say on the wings, we can see that the scaling looks great and the webbing for the actual, well, winged areas does look great when it's all nice and folded up. Now, in some instances, we do have little tips and spikes and whatnot, and that can be a cause of concern, specifically in regards to things like paint rub. I'm unfortunately going to have to skip ahead a little bit here because I want to show you the tail, which unfortunately mine has a little bit of paint rub as is. So that's a bit of a bummer for me, but that can be the name of the game in this sort of situation. But This also brings us a good chance to take a look at the back of King Ghidorah, where we can see there are some great areas of some spraying of black and other dark colors like brown and even some bronze colors to really bring out some of the areas like the folds on Ghidorah's back. We do have those spikes on his necks, which look all great, and that sort of attention to detail really makes me question as exactly why some folks are calling this release lazy. Yes, in some of these areas we are going to have seams, and those are going to be plenty on this figure, so do keep that in mind, but I do feel like they're hidden rather well. So it's not that big of an issue, but c'est la vie. Anyway, King Ghidorah ultimately, unfortunately, doesn't look like the prototype, but to say that it's lazy and there's no effort put into this release at all, well, I think that's a bit of a lie. Now, what I do think is a bit upsetting is the fact that X Plus didn't really do a great job of communicating one aspect of this release that they really should have. King Ghidorah comes with a little support block. Now, why is this an issue? Well, if you take a look at the promotional pictures, you will see that King Ghidorah does not have this support block, and all parts of Ghidorah which are touching the floor, if you will, touching the ground, he stands up just fine on his own. Now, if you have a big brain, you're able to think, well, he has 4 corners, let's say, and then there's the center of Ghidorah, which will probably cause a sag. Well, they didn't show that he would need a support stand in those promo pictures. So when you take a look at the support stand and how it's meant to be used, you can see that when the support stand is used, one of King Ghidorah's wings, since he's in a wing walking pose, the wing is off the ground. That's going to be his right one. But when you remove that little block, then his left leg is off the ground. Now, again, I totally understand why this support block was included, because if there was no block there, then the vinyl would sag. There would probably be some breakage, some separation at those seams, but this is definitely something that X Plus should have communicated a little bit better, because now it kind of looks like the figure is all kind of thrown off when displayed on the shelf, because all 4 parts of Ghidorah, the 2 legs and the 2 wings, which are supposed to be touching the ground, are not. And I've tried finagling that block, and it doesn't really work. Or maybe I just haven't gotten it right. I don't know. I've tried moving it this way, that way, and every way, but I just haven't gotten it right. So that is rather disappointing. Now we're going to go ahead and move on over to a size comparison for you so you can see how big King Ghidorah is. And yes, he is definitely big. He's probably going to take up the most shelf space of any of the Deforeal figures so far. Probably a little bit more than Deforeal, but I wouldn't say too much more. Yeah, this is a big boy. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Well, I do have to say that I am very pleased with what I got. It's not exactly what I was thinking it was going to be, and X Plus definitely could have done a better job, but at the end of the day, what we did get, I do like. The paint applications definitely could have been more in line with the prototype, and that would have sold it, but still, I do think that the actual care that went into the things like the brown and the black sprays and hiding those seam lines really do need to be commended. However, some folks who say that they don't like this figure for the radical change from the prototype, the inclusion of that support block, and it's an Americanized version of King Ghidorah. Okay, some of those I can agree with, the last one no, but yeah, okay, I get it. Overall, you're either going to like this, or it seems like you're going to hate it. I'm leaning more towards like. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.